Game na tayo. Sige. So, yeah, what do you have from me today? Anong gusto niyo pag-usapan? Anong tino-troubleshoot niyo? What are you trying to, to improve in life? Kailangan ng extra perspective, extra na advice, di ba? Pwedeng solutions or strategies na pasok na sa experience ko. So, di ko alam kung mas matanda kayo sa akin. Ako already, magta 36 years old. So, yeah, pag samasamahin natin yung brain power and experiences to improve kung nasa man tayo in the journey. Sige, so game tayo.
Yun, solid, solid. Na-curious lang ako, coach, dun sa pa-intro kahapon. Kasi ang ganda agad na naging discussion eh. Yung fluff na expenses. Tapos yung nilapag mo yung parang framework ng expenses.
Yeah.
May standard pa na parang, for example, single ka pa, plano mo eventually magkaroon ng pamilya, syempre ganun. May may standards na parang goal or in figures na, for example, for expenses, certain amount of love, certain amount of abundance, may budget for enjoyment, maintenance, growth, survival, ganun.
Yeah. So, isa sa mahalagang factor dyan is ekonomiya kung saan ka nakatira. In preparing for the future, meron tayong tinatawag na inflation rate, di ba? Tapos, meron yung estimates. So if you look at your own country, well, lahat naman tayo Pinas yata. So parang, you can research on that eh. Ano ba yung average inflation rate, di ba? Kaya pag nagko-compute ka for certain expenses for your lifestyle, na ano mo siya, kinoconsider mo yung inflation rate para nalalaman mo rin ano yung dapat pumapasok na klase ng money sa'yo, kaya anong amounts, di ba? Para ma-sustain yung certain lifestyle that you are living. So, yung ekonomiya kung nasan ka, kahit pa paano dapat tansyado mo yun. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, you get the few key information around that. No? There's your, depende kung employed ka, nandiyan yung employment rate, tapos yung rates sa industry mo, kung nasan ka. Diba? So, just getting your numbers straight before you plan ahead. But on the flip side, kailangan alam mo kung magkano talaga yung lifestyle mo. At any point in time, kailangan alam mo what's your survival expenses and then lifestyle expenses. So survival, para lang buhay ka kinabukasan. Lifestyle is yun na, kasama yung comfort, enjoyment. Yeah. So yun yung bumubuo dun eh. So yung pag-commit mo sa iba pang mga klase ng expenses na above dun sa current lifestyle mo. Okay? So dun na nagkakaroon ng lifestyle inflation. Okay? So kunyari, ang lifestyle expense mo lang is 50K. Tapos for reason, either dahil may extra kang pera more than 50K o kaya may access ka to certain funds. Example, may minana ka, di ba? O kaya may credit card ka, so pwede ka umutang. O kaya may kaibigan ka na pwede mong utangan. Yung mga ganong klase, kung gagastos ka na above pa sa usual mong lifestyle expense, of course, mag-iiba ulit yung takbo ng cash flow mo nun. Pero yeah, kailangan mo lang kailangan mong malaman yung numbers beforehand, ma-estimate mo siya, and at any point in time, kabisado mo, depende kung nasan ka. Ay, syempre, kung nasa ibang bansa ka, iba din yung numbers kasi. Yun. Iba rin yung taxes, diba? Iba rin yung kailangan mong i-allocate para mas maging sustainable to live anywhere. Okay? So ano lang din, wala talaga siyang one size fits all na standard. Geography, yung gobyerno, yung ekonomiya, these are things na nag-change depende kung nasan ka. Okay? So you just have to know the numbers and then adjust from there. Pinaka-safe sa ngayon, or ever since naman, if your income is growing by at least 10% per year, tapos yung lifestyle mo is hindi naman nagbabago, okay? Sapat na yung 10% per year na increase to sustain yung current na lifestyle. Yeah. Kasi way over, na yun. Usually way over na ng 10% sa kahit anong inflation rate. Okay? Pero syempre, magkaiba kung lifestyle inflation yung nangyari. Example, instead na isang Milo lang binibili mo, gusto mo dalawa na yung binibili mong Milo. So kahit ang in-increase lang talaga ng presyo ng Milo, let's say, is like 4% increase lang in a year due to inflation. Okay? Eh kung dalawa na yung binibili mo, doble pa din yun. Presyo no. So bawas pa rin yun sa kaban ng cash na meron. Okay? So, kailangan mo ba ng dalawang Milo? That's one. Kung kailangan, edi syempre, way more yung kailangan mong targetin na income to sustain that. Magbabago yung normal na base rate ng lifestyle mo eh. Kung hindi mo kailangan ng dalawang Milo, pwedeng pasok yun sa gusto mo ba ng dalawang Milo? Okay? Pasok pa rin yun. So, hindi siya pag kailangan, survival expense. Okay? Kapag hindi kailangan pero gusto, papasok sa lifestyle. It's, yeah. So yun lang naman, if you get those sorted out, malinaw sa'yo at any point in time, magkano ba lifestyle? Yeah. Mas maging madali to compute and maging sustainable yung mga bagay-bagay. To share some example, sa akin, I don't have, hindi na ako nagko-compute masyado since I have a finance manager. Ang usapan lang namin on a weekly, hindi na on a weekly. So parang in a quarter. So sabihin lang sa akin ng finance manager ko na ito yung kailangan mong kitain for this quarter. Yun na yun. Wala na akong ibang kailangan maging focus. Nakalatag na. Basta yun yung kitain ko for the quarter. Covered na lahat. Okay. Pero at the same time, way more advanced kasi ako ngayon. So parang pag sinabi sa akin, ito yung kailangan kitain for the quarter. Yeah, I mean, there's spare cash na kahit hindi ko yung kitain specifically to cover for that. No, so medyo advanced na ako doon. Parang even if I don't work for the next, I would say right now mga 6-7 years. Even if itigil ko lahat ng ginagawa ko ngayon na responsibilities. Ang mawawala lang is life systems. Yeah. Kasi yung life systems, hindi naman talaga kumikita. so, so, yung other ventures, yeah, kahit wala na akong gawin doon, kahit completely ipasa ko siya. It's enough. So parang I have mga 6-7 years-ish worth of cash flow runway. Yun, na yung current lifestyle ko, kaya kong i-sustain for 7 years, even if hindi ako mag- yeah. Any follow-up questions from the, or baka, ay, meron pala, ito pa rin chat. Hindi, isa lang naman yung chat na. Go ahead. Let me know what do you have in mind. Ano gusto nyong i-troubleshoot, pag-usapan, get a better idea about. Anything that you believe will improve your life as we talk about. Kunyari, kung tingin mo makaka-improve sa'yo yung parang, Kagi, paano ba nabuo yung universe? Pwede natin pag-usapan yan eh. Ayan, ito. Kag's advice for people who feel left behind by their batches. Dalawang bagay. Yung feeling of being left behind can be both a cool thing or a thing that sucks. Okay? So, ano yung mas nangingibabaw? When you say you feel left behind, to some people, that's a good thing. Some people, it's not. I'm assuming this is the negative side. Parang you feel left behind and that also makes you feel what other stuff. Okay, baka sucks. So, you're comparing yourself based on the standards na may expectations sa inyo and sa batch ninyo. Okay. And in relation yan to career path, in relation to achievements na nandun sa career path na yun. Okay. So there's a part of you that wants the same career path, there's a part of you that wants the same achievements, part of you na gustong gawing stepping stone yung things related to your batch itself. So for sa college, the network that you're building, anong industry ka nagtatrabaho, there's a part in you that wants to enter that space. Okay? For whatever reason, you feel left behind kasi either hindi ka makapasok doon sa space na yon with the same opportunities or nandun ka pero magbagal. Okay? Yun lang naman yung usual na cases. Now, there's a coping mechanism and there's a thriving mechanism. Which means, pag nagko-cope ka, kung ano yung nafe-feel mo right now, hahanapan mo lang siya ng something useful. Okay? Pasimplihin natin. You feel left behind right now. A good coping mechanism for anything, okay, is what we call the advantage method. Okay? So, kung feeling mo malungkot, magulo, pag-iiwanan ka, like disappointed ka, frustrated ka, tatanungin mo lang is, what's the advantage of my situation? Okay? Kasi usually, when you feel left behind, what you're comparing is the negative sa sitwasyon mo versus the positive sa sitwasyon ng ibang tao. So, palugin na kagad yung comparison. Okay? Kasi, di ba, parang example, kaming dalawa ng wife ko. So, mas maganda yung kilay ko sa kanya. Okay? So, pag kinumpare ko yung kilay ko sa kilay niya, di technically kung competition to, mas pack yung kilay ko, panalo na ako kagad. Diba? Tas yung pilik mata pa, di ba? So, yun. Pero pag kinompare yung pagluluto ko sa pagluluto niya, well, walang kwenta yung luto ko. Okay? So, in some areas, mas lamang siya. In some areas, mas lamang ako. Okay? Um, Pag ang kinompare mo is yung positive ng isang person, tapos yung negative mo, lugi ka talaga. Okay? So, that's one way to navigate it. What's the advantage of your situation? Ano yung pros? Ano yung things that you can celebrate? Kung ideally, mga bagay na dahil nandun sila sa career path na yun, yung batch mo, ano yung meron ka na wala sila? Okay? Ano yung advantages that you're enjoying right now na they do not enjoy? Kasi nandun sila sa specific career path na yun. That balances out yung comparison. But that's a way to cope. Okay? That's a way to cope. If you really want to thrive in your situation, you gotta ask the same people. Kamusta ba yung experiences talaga nila within? So kung may contact ka with your batchmates and stuff, kausapin mo. Pero tanungin mo yung mga bagay na nagpapastress sa kanila. Tanungin mo yung mga bagay na pinoproblema nila kasi nandun na sila sa career path na yun. Tanungin mo yung mga bagay na that keeps them up at night kasi yun yung pinili nilang path para sa kanila. Because that balances out yung kung ano yung nakikita mo na positive versus ano talaga yung actual experience nila while they're in that situation. So, syempre, yung mas madaling gawin is yung advantage method. Kasi kahit mag-isa ka, pwede mo nang gawin yan eh. So, kung introvert ka, edi mas yun ang gagawin mo. kung mas extroverted ka, syempre, chichikahin mo yung mga batchmate mo and all. Diba? But both are good ways to to ilapat mo yung sarili mo sa mas realidad na balance yung point of view of those career paths and all. Ano man yung na-achieve natin in any path, laging may cost kasi yun. Okay? And then, para ma-maintain yung para makapagpatuloy ka dun sa path na yun, may cost pa rin yun, may maintenance cost. Yeah. So, some people, hindi nila mabayaran yung cost to enter or to achieve. Yung ibang tao naman, nakapag-enter at na-achieve na, pero hindi na mabayaran yung cost to maintain. Okay? So, yun lang. Alamin mo yung costs nun for people. What did it take for them to get there? And what is it continually taking from them para makapagpatuloy sa path nila? And then you compare. Mas balancing comparison. Most of the time, uh, di ba, sinasabi comparison is the thief of joy? Well, hindi naman talaga eh. Yung approach natin sa comparing, yun yung problema. Kapag yung data na tinitingnan natin is inaccurate at hindi balanse, then yung pagko-compare natin will usually result into attacking ourselves. Or pwede rin naman comforting ourselves. Kasi pag kinumpara mo yung mga sarili mo sa, malamang di naman 100% ng batchmates mo are doing really well, di ba? Let's say half-half. Half are like pursuing that career and then half is hindi naman talaga. Di ba? Tapos ikaw parang kung nasan ka man dun. So pag kinumpare mo yung sarili mo sa batchmates mo that are not doing well, you feel better. Kasi, so, pag kinumpare mo yung sarili mo sa mga batchmates na talagang mga summa cum laude, tapos parang lahat ng parang sila lang yung pinagpala sa lahat. Ganun. Siyempre, we need to feel less. So, depende kung kanino mo kinumpare. Pero if you really wanna, pa rin, like, mas balance yung point of view. Yeah, just get more accurate data. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Sure. All right. Any other thoughts from the group? Follow-up questions or anything you're trying to sort out?
May
ko
questions
umaga
pa sa may questions pa sa chat box. Kay Gretel, kay Marv, tsaka kay Manes.
Okay. Sige. So ito kay Grets. I want stability in structure, but I also want freedom and flexibility. What career path should I pivot to or take? I feel stagnant kasi sa ginagawa ko ngayon and complacent. There's tons of career paths. Okay? There was one time nakita ko itong person, ang ginagawa niya lang twice a year is aakyat siya sa sobrang taas na tower na radar. Tapos may papalitan lang siya doon na something. Twice a year. So buhay na yung buong pamilya na. Okay? So 2 araw lang sa loob ng 1 taon siya nagtatrabaho. Tapos ang laki ng bayad sa kanya kasi sobrang risky nung ginagawa niya. Kasi sobrang taas na tower nun. Kaya na parang cell tower, parang ganun. So, hagdan ang gagawin mo. Paakyat. Tapos kapag medyo pagod na siya, isasabit niya lang muna yung sarili niya. So, pahinga muna siya dun. Tapos, okay, game na ulit. Akyatin ko na. Para lang may palitan dun na something sa tuktok. Tapos after nun, sana may slide na lang pababa no? Pero hindi eh. Yung pababa niya, okay? Ginagawa niya twice a year. So, flexible kasi 2 days a year ka lang nagtatrabaho. Okay? Pero, alam mo, yun yung pasok saan niya? Sa skills niya. Okay? Yun yung pasok sa pagkatao niya, sa trip niya sa buhay. Yung pasok din yung pay. Here's the thing. Ang pinakamalaking trap dito is kapag, minadali mo kung saan ka magta-transition. And when I say minadali, yung tipong yung una mong choice, dapat perfect na agad. Okay? Yung question na to nanggagaling from a person na hindi pa nakakapag-explore as much. Kasi kung nakapag-explore ka na ng malawak-lawak, hindi ka na magtatanong basically anong career path ka magpipivot. So sa ngayon, kulang pa yung exploration na nangyayari sa buhay mo. Okay? And there's a few ways for you to explore. Okay? Una, so before ka mag-explore, ito pala muna yung prerequisite. Kailangan mas kilala mo yung sarili mo. Alam mo yung mga bagay na gusto mo when it comes to working, alam mo yung mga bagay na ayaw mo when it comes to working. So nasa shape mo na yung ideal na klase ng work para sa'yo. Meron kang criteria. Okay? Based on pagkakilala mo sa sarili mo. So mga gusto at mga ayaw. Sinabi mo na stability and structure, freedom and flexibility, may mga ano pa yan. May mga sub-conditions pa yan. Okay? Kasi subjective tong mga to eh. Okay? Anong percentage ng structure? Anong percentage ng stability? Sa ibang tao, yung stable sa kanila, kapag meron silang 25K a month, stable na yun. Sa ibang tao, kailangan nila 150K a month para maging stable. Sa ibang tao, yung structure is parang, gusto nila 5 days a week, 8 to 5, tapos naka-uniform sila. Meron din mga tao na gusto nila is work from home setup lang. Tapos merong twice a month na pupunta sa office, tapos casual lang yung suot. Okay? So kailangan mo pang identify yung sub-conditions of what these mean for you. Kasi iba-iba yan for every person. Okay? Freedom and flexibility, same. May sub-conditions yan na personalized, na ikaw mismo yung nakakaalam. So kapag mas kilala mo yung sarili mo, dumadali na i-describe yung mga yun. Okay? Now, exploration side. Okay? Sideline, yan, mga side hustles is a good way to explore. Okay? You won't fully commit, idadagdag mo lang yung pag-pursue ng something. Diba? It's an income stream, a side project. Habang yung main thing mo ngayon, kung saan ka kumikita, yung sustain sa'yo, andyan pa rin siya. Okay? Ibig sabihin, you will probably have less overtimes. Diba? Kasi gusto mo na mas mag-allot ng time for exploring through a side project. Okay? That's one. It's really a good way para hindi mo kailangang i-overhaul muna yung buhay mo para lang maka-discover ng something else na pwede para sa'yo. Hindi ka rin kailangan ma-push, parang nasa bangin ka, tapos tinulak ka na lang, tapos sige, transition na ako agad sa next. Pero hindi mo pa naman talaga alam kung magiging okay yun. Hindi mo kailangan isugal. Okay? So test things out through side projects or side hustles. Okay? Pangalawa, merong mga tao na hindi man 100% gusto mo yung lifestyle nila. Pero yung mga sub-conditions na naisulat mo, nakikita mo yung mga parts nun in their life. Okay? So, if you can identify mga ganong tao na nakita mo, parang gusto ko yung ganong structure na meron siya. Pareho yun sa trip ko na sinulat ko for myself. You can ask those people. You get access to people na close yung work and lifestyle harmony nila sa kung ano yung trip mo. Okay? Because that's part of exploration too. Okay? You're getting data from the actual conversations. Okay? And iwasan mo muna yung mga tao na bago pa lang o nagka-transition pa lang. Yung hindi pa nila na-figure out yun. So sabihin natin, kung wala pa silang 5 years minimum dun sa ginagawa nila na yun, ano yun? Hindi reliable yung makukuha mo sa kanila na kwento ng experiences nila. Kasi hindi pa naman sila established dun sa ginagawa nila. Okay? Madalas nangyayari sa atin is we listen to opinion ng lahat. Pero sa lahat ng industry, okay, saan ka man papasok, work-wise, ang pinakamaraming tao is newbies. Okay? Pinakamaraming tao is yung mga nagsisimula pa lang dun sa industry na yan. Therefore, majority ng conversations, kung hindi mo pipiliin, kung hindi mo i-filter, majority ng mga kausap mo, nagsisimula pa lang in the industry. Okay? So kapag ang pinakinggan mo ng mga experiences at opinion, kumbaga, mga kwento, is galing from people na nagsisimula pa lang, iba pa yung point of view nila. Mas mga kwento nila yung struggle, may kwento nila yung mga magulong parts, mga hindi pa nila ma-figure out. So nagkakaroon ka ngayon ng influence na baka maging distasteful sa'yo yung pag-enter into that space. When in actuality, meron pang other side dun sa kwento na yun. It's just that most people haven't figured it out pa. Okay? So it really is wise to have criterias sa kung sino yung mas papakinggan. And usually, mas dapat pakinggan yung mga established na. Okay? Or at least nandun na sa 5-year mark pataas. Kasi for sure, within 5 years, di ka naman tatagal ng 5 years sa isang work kung walang good times and bad times. Okay? So mas balance na yun yung point of view. Okay? Another way for you to explore is sama ka sa project ng iba. Okay? So hindi mo side hustle, hindi ikaw yung pasimuno, pero side hustle ng iba. Okay? So pwede ka mag-part-time sa ginagawa ng ibang tao. Okay? Official part-time man yun or you're just there to support or something para mas ma-explore mo. Yun. Yeah. Yun yung initial na sagot ko dito right now. And yung feeling mo of pagiging stagnant and complacent, okay? It's because walang enough opportunity sa kung nasan ka ngayon para ma-feel yung craving mo for something else. Kaya exploration yung push ko towards it. Yeah.
Thank you, Kage. Thank you.
Sure.
Really makes sense na. Solid advice po. Thank you.
Yeah. And ano to it's a good thing while you're younger. Diba? To explore pa, wala pang ibang mga kailangang alalahanin, tapos kung single pa, ganyan. Diba? There's a lot more freedom to explore. Kasi one of the frustrations actually ng mga nakakausap ko na married na and meron ng kids is mayroong certain regret na sana pala nag-artista ako yung kala mo naman pero yeah, alam mo ba yeah, because I witnessed that a lot in my own mom. Okay? So ako kasi aksidente ako nabuo eh. Okay? So hindi ako planado. Okay? Dapat peke lang yung kasal ng mga magulang mo. So yung nanay ko, tsaka yung tatay ko, kasal lang sila sa paper pero fake lang yun. Kasi kailangan lang ng dad ko ng Filipino citizenship para makapagnegosyo sa dito sa Pilipinas. Nagkain laban sila. So yung nabuo ako na hindi pa totoo yung kasal nila. Kasi eventually kasal nila sila. Okay? So yung nanay ko, 19 years old at that time. Okay? So, ano ba yun? Hindi niya pa alam. Parang ang dami pang point mangyari sa buhay niya. Yun. So, she felt na dahil dumating ako sa buhay niya, parang yung mga iba niya mga pangarap automatically hindi na bigla pwede. Parang biglang nagkaroon ng ceiling na di ko na magagawa yung mga stuff na gusto kong gawin and all. So yun, for the longest time, isa ako sa mga sinisisi ni mama kaya hindi niya na nagawa yung mga gusto niya pang gawin sa buhay. Yan. So kaya marami kaming rips before. Kasi totoo naman talaga. Kapag mas may responsibility and cargo ka na, lalo ng ibang tao, hindi ka na kasing free na gumawa o basta mag-take ng risk or other options to explore. So yun, may ways pa rin to navigate that. Pero yeah, susulitan nyo kung nasan kayo ngayon. Lalo na kung may certain sense of freedom to explore.
Thank you, Kage.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so how do you overcome or at least deal with fear of failure, disappointment, or the thought na you need it figured out before starting? Yeah, ganito yan. You're bound to make mistakes. Lahat tayo. Okay? Kaya I highly advocate for this skill. Okay? It's saying sorry. Okay? The skill of apologizing. Okay? Kasama sa apologizing, two sides of the same coin. So, the skill of saying sorry, apology, and then forgiveness. Okay? So, kung marunong ka mag-apologize, okay lang magkamali. Okay? Kung marunong ka magpatawad, okay lang magkamali. Okay? Where does this apply? Okay? So yung apology, kapag usually, nag-a-apply siya, kapag meron kang mali tas may damay na ibang tao. Okay? Siyempre, kailangan mo mag-solve. Okay? And sincere lang ang apology kapag merong pagbawi. Kapag nag-sorry, pero walang nagbago, walang pagbawi, it's just words. It's basically empty apology. And lahat yun is a skill set. From the way that you think, paano mo i-approach yung pag-apologize, paano mo i-communicate, and then anong gagawin mo after the apology para makabawi. It's a skill set. Okay? Pero hindi naman sa atin tinuturo talaga yun. I have my own frameworks on that, pero hindi ko na matouch on it. Yung other side of that is forgiveness. Yung forgiveness, madalas iniisip kasi natin, ang pagpapatawad ay para sa ibang tao kapag sila yung may nagawa sa atin na sablay. Okay? Pero self-forgiveness, hindi yung madalas na pag-uusapan. Yung nagkamali ka, tapos bibigyan mo ulit yung sarili mo ng another chance. Yung nagkamali ka, tapos you give yourself a pat on the back. Sige, tinry mo, we'll do better next time. Okay. Self-forgiveness is kind of a lost art. Hindi nga siya existing sa halos lahat ng conversations. Madalas, ang point of view natin is, nagkamali ako. Tapos, alam ko na yung kailangan kong sunod na gawin, pero ang nagiging mindset is, ano kayang sasabihin ng ibang tao? Ano kayang mangyayari kung magkamali ulit ako dito sa path nito? Ang madalas na no-overthink natin is response ng ibang tao. Kapag meron tayong inattempt o nagkamali tayo sa something that we're trying to do. Pero yung boses na yon na nagtatanong na, ano kayang sasabihin ng ibang tao? Ano kayang opinion ng ibang tao? That's a big indicator na you haven't forgiven yourself for the past things na na-disappoint mo yung sarili mo with. It just looks like may paki ka sa opinion ng ibang tao, but most of the time, it's a sign of hindi mo pa napapatawad yung sarili. Hindi ka pa willing to give yourself another shot. Hindi ka pa willing sumugal ulit sa sarili mo. So those two skill sets, okay? Paano mag-apologize kung sakaling may damay talagang ibang tao dun sa mga nagawa mo before at magagawa mo pa, you need to know how to say sorry, okay? At bumawi. At the same time, sa lahat ng maging future mong pagkakamali, how do you bounce back from it and give yourself another chance? Sana natutunan ko pang mga bagay na to ng mas bata-bata pa. Para hindi ko na dinala yung mas marami ko pang kabigatan sa kalooban for years on end. Mas marami sana akong energy to execute instead of just overthink and overfeel. I hope this answer makes sense.
Thank you po.
Yeah. Soft skill yung sagot ko hindi ano. Well, actually, soft skill is cool eh. Anyway, ayan. So, Kage, 3 of my clients is leadership opportunity and to own the business and increase the income. I feel sad kasi need to let go. Ano yung AA? Amazon something ba? Assistant? Tingin ko, ayaw mag-grow at wala na akong maipato na task. And for 1 year, I don't see any advanced thinking. Gusto ko sana siya mag-stay. Kasi hindi ko alam paano ako ma-outsource ng ibang tasks and what advice and what way mag-going outsource sa work. How to find a person in terms of work. And currently looking ako yung stay out kasambahay din to help me sa mga bagay-bagay. Here's the thing. Merong mga tao na useful for certain tasks. Okay? And naiintindihan ko how, as a founder, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, we actually try to maximize the potential of people. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kung nasan sila ngayon, nangangarap tayo na they would step up. Diba? And then they can be able to expand yung value ng work relationship na meron kayo. But there's also a timing issue. There's also a skill issue. There's also a character issue. There's different layers. Paano nagiging ready yung isang tao to step up, to expand yung role and yung value ng role niya. Hindi lahat ng tao handa talaga. And it takes time para ma-feel nila na mas handa sila. My wife just got promoted sa work 2 days ago. This is her 3rd promotion in the span of 1 year and 3 months. Yeah. So, weird. That doesn't usually happen. Okay? Pero in her case, hindi ko nga maintindihan minsan kasi parang hindi naman siya nagtatrabaho. Nang talagang todong nakatutok all of the time. Pero she can accomplish her tasks kasi na, alam mo yun, yung isang linggong trabaho kaya nang gawin ng isang araw. Ganun. Okay? So, yung potential niya and the way that she works is way higher than most people dun sa kung nasan siya. So, lagi siyang pinag-aagawan ng mga departments and inaay siya for promotion. Pwede bang sa amin na lang si team? Yun yung asawa ko. Pwede bang sa amin na lang siya? Pahiram mo naman sa amin. Ganun. So, di ko pa rin mag-gets. Yun. Pero, saludo ako with the way that she works. Pero kasi, through the years naman, ang napansin ko is, yung mga work opportunities na meron siya before, ganun din naman yung way niya ng pag-work eh. Pero, merong ceiling yung growth opportunity within those companies. So, kahit mas mataas pa dun yung potential niya, wala nang space para mag-grow pa siya into another role. Wala nang space para umangat pa siya in the hierarchy of things. Okay. Just going back, mahalaga na malinaw mo ano yung skill talaga na kailangan mo from the person, and then ano yung attitude na kailangan mo from the person. And then, ano yung ideal na gusto mo talaga na yun yung i-play ng person na yun? You will have to train that person to meet yung gap ng dalawa. Okay? So example, kasama sa character na criteria mo is honest siya dapat. Okay? Pero dun sa ideal na version, gusto mo transparent siya. Ano yung pinagkaiba ng honesty at transparency? Honesty, kailangan tanungin mo muna. And then kapag tinanong mo, honest yung magiging sagot niya. Transparency, kahit hindi mo natanungin, kung saan yung dinideliver sa'yo lahat ng accurate information na kailangan within the scope of your relationship. So hindi mo na kailangan tanungin bago sumagot ng totoo. Kung saan mo nang nalalaman yung information. So kung sa jowa to, ito yung jowa na nag-update kahit hindi mo tanungin. Okay? So, merong gap yun. Kung magsimula ka with an honest person, ititrain mo pa siya paano maging transparent with you. Right? That's a character thing. Sa skill naman, of course, there's other stuff na kailangan mong i-train yung person with. Yeah. And tingin ko, ang mas kailangan mong i-determine is, ano ba talaga yung space within your own company, agency, or the way that you work with clients na may kailangan i-fit na ideal role of another person. Kasi kung mayroong ceiling yan, hanggang doon ka lang pwede mag-create ng role for another person and hire a person for that role. Okay? So nasa transition ka rin kasi with your clients. Which means kailangan mag-transition ng ideal version ng team member mo. Kung gusto mo na may team member ka pa rin talaga na sumasalo ng mga stuff na gusto mo. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na every team member mag-groom mo talaga into the most ideal. May mga roadblocks kasi yan. So example, yung ideal version mo, kunyari, honest siya pero nahihirapan talaga siya maging transparent. Kailangan pang i-figure out kung ano yung gap in between and you would have to cater to that. Yeah. Is this making sense as an answer? Maneth?
Yes, coach. So, nilet go ko muna yung assistant ko kasi hindi niya na ma-fill yung gap na kailangan ko. And then, yung 3 clients ko is leadership kasi talaga
Yeah.
promotion na binibigay sa akin. So, yun yung ina-identify ko pa sa sarili ko kung ano pa yung pwede kong i-outsource para madali. Although madali sa akin ang market research at yung leadership andun na, kaya lang gusto ko rin naman matanggal yung ibang burden sa akin sa trabaho para hindi ako nakatutok.
Yeah. You can test things out. Hindi naman kailangan lahat ng magiging team members mo ay parang parte ng kumpanya mo. Okay, kung outsourcing lang talaga yung pinakakailangan mo, kahit dun lang sa skill level, tas minor characteristics, okay na yun eh. Kasi hindi ka naman nangangarap na parang palitan ka nila, hindi mo sila gagawing apprentice, hindi mo naman sila i-groom for anything else. It's just some tasks na ibabato mo. Okay? So, kahit dun lang sa 2 layers na yun, tapos you can test it out. So, ibig sabihin, may budget ka lang, try ka ng person, may onboarding process ka na, nakalagay na doon pati yung mga skill part na paano i-execute yung mga stuff. Kunyari may boom video, may SOP, may instructions. And if they can follow that, then wala ka na kailangang problemahin doon sa side na yung
Actually, ganun po yung ginagawa ko sa AE ko. Kaya lang, hindi ko nakikita sa kanya yung growth na maging yung advanced thinking ba or maging
Yeah.
Basta lang siya, 1 + 1 is 2. Ganun lang.
Yeah. It's kumbaga yung AA mo, hindi tayo umaasa sa kanya.
Hindi
Wala
na, isa pa na siya.
Okay. So, kailangan maghanap ng someone and kailangan mong linawin from the start na dapat proactive sila. Kung yun talaga yung hinahanap mo, part yun of the character requirements. So, kung hindi ka proactive, huwag ka na kayo mag-apply. And you can actually design a few things to test things out. Para makita mo how proactive people are. Okay? Pwede rin naman na iset mo yung expectations na yun from the start. Okay?
I did the set of expectations. Sabi ko, iti-train kita and then tutulungan kita makahanap din ng client. Pero naging lang siya sa akin. Nakarely lang sa akin na parang tingin niya na forever na rin namang may work siya. Dito lang ako. Pero kinat ko yun.
Yeah. So, psychological safety is a big thing. If yung person na yun is in relation to yung question kanina, if yung person na yun is nasa environment o lumaki sa environment na kapag nagkakamali siya, tinotorture siya sa pagkakamali niya, mahihirapan siya mag-decide para sa sarili niya. Therefore, mas takot siya na maging proactive. Kasi sanay siya na parang pinapako siya sa krus kapag mayroon siyang nagawang mali, nasabing mali, naging desisyon na mali. So yung background ng mga tao na hinahire natin, malaking factor din yun sa kung ano yung beliefs nila. Kahit gusto nila na mas maging better, some of them, wala naman talagang space na maging self-aware, mag-self-develop, aralin yung mga ganitong klase ng ng growth opportunities o kaya magkaroon ng ganitong klase ng conversations. Most people are stuck, pero hindi nila alam why they're stuck. And programmatic na yung behavior nila. So if you really want someone na useful na kagad dun sa ginagawa mo, merong baseline eh. So you have to test. Merong baseline na example, sa simula pa lang, like first few questions pa lang, kunyari may interview kayo, bigyan mo na siya ng situational na interview questions. Kung sakaling ganito, ano yung gagawin mo? Kasi pala makikita mo na kagad how the characteristics of the person is intact na. So kung doon pa lang sa unang mga ganong test, hindi na kagad. You have to find another one. Then again, you can outsource this. Yung mismong paghahanap, you can outsource that. So ayaw mo nang problemahin yung paghahanap mismo, lagyan mo na lang ng budget, pahanap ka sa headhunter. Yeah, that's way easier. Because I used to work with one of the world's leading headhunting agencies. And sobrang bilis lang ng proseso. So worldwide sila naghahanap ng iba't ibang, both online and offline agency sila for that. So ipapadala sila ng ibang tao sa ibang bansa. At the same time, nagbibigay sila ng work from home opportunities. Yun. Pero yung process nila for finding the right fit, kumbaga yung sila parang modal HR yung dating. So instead na may sarili kang HR na naghahanap nagre-recruit para sa'yo, sila na yung magre-recruit nun. Yeah, there's services like that. And it's easier. Tapos one-time pay lang siya kapag nahanap yung right fit. Tapos kung hindi mag-fit sa'yo, like within 60 to 90 days, papalitan nila yun with no cost to you. So at least yung malaking part na yun, hindi mo na kailangan problemahin if ever. Yeah. Just an option.
Actually, doon ako nahanap ng dalawa kong client na long-term headhunter. And 2 years na kami.
Solid. So yeah, tsaka mura lang yun.
Thank you.
Yeah, dami kong kilala na pag ganyan yung naging problem sa akin. Ito lang, headhunting na lang. You have the money, so it's okay lang. Kaya mo rin. Yeah.
Ano lang, ang mahirap lang makahanap ng tao, ang laki ng expectation nila sa salary kasi kino-compare nila yung level mo sa sahurin mo. Which is hindi naman pwede kasi it took me 5 years to have this mindset na sa kanila, eto pa lang, di ba?
Pati yung salary noon, pag-uusapan niya. Kung ano yung budget mo for the salary, kasama yun. Sila yung naghanap para sa'yo, headhunting agencies yung naghanap para sa'yo, isa-set nyo yung parameters. So kapag over budget yun, hindi yun pasok. Pero hindi mo na kailangang problemahin. Ang darating sa yung tao, pasok na sa lahat ng criteria na nilinaw mo with the agency. Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to get connected to one, let me know. So, pwede natin explore.
Thank you.
Sige. So, okay, I'll move forward. Siguro in a way of acceptance din of how we are really different from others. Takes time to not to compare if it's normal in your environment or somehow question yourself. Yeah. Going back to comparison kanina, hindi dapat pigilan ng comparison. Kasi we're social beings. Normal tayo magkakaroon ng observations about the people around us. Okay? So normal ang comparison. It's part of our survival mechanism. Kapag hindi ka nagko-compare, mabubobo ka kung paano i-navigate yung mundo. Okay? Diba? Yung bata, ginagaya niya lang lahat. Diba? As he or she is learning, diba, mag-navigate ng mundo. Kinokopya niya lang kung ano yung nakikita niya sa paligid niya. Walang sense of right or wrong. Walang sense of consequences or rewards. Okay? Ganun tayo. Normally, we survive by comparing things sa environment natin. So, ngayong adults na tayo, normal pa rin yun. Pero we can compare better. Okay? So, hindi natin kailangan pigilan mag-compare, but we can compare better. Ayan. I remember nung LM, ang tanong sa activity, sino papatawarin mo? Answer ko, sarili ko. Sabi ng teacher ko, wrong raw. Yung answer ko, dapat raw ibang tao. Well, sana okay lang yung teacher mo. Okay, the last question natin. What mindset or system can help me stick to boundaries, especially time, money, and emotional boundaries, when others around me need so much from me? Here's the thing. Ito madalas for breadwinners or yung mga inaasahan talaga sa pamilya, di ba? Yung mga tipong sacrificial na, kung kunyari OFW, pinapadala lahat sa pamilya, tapos naghihirap sila sa ibang bansa. Okay. If you are the go-to person in the family, ikaw yung reliable one, either that, o ikaw yung pinaka-available, kaya ikaw yung laging nabibigyan ng o kaya ikaw yung bunso, so lagi ka nang utusan, o nauuto. So depende. Depende kung yung structure of where you're at, ano yung environment. Meron ng normalized way of treating you, asking from you, receiving from you, giving sa'yo, okay, demanding from you. Lahat yan established na. What you're trying to do kapag gusto mong mas mag-set ng boundaries, okay, mas mag-set ng boundaries is, nagsiset ka ng, okay, hanggang dito na lang ako. Kung dati, binibigay ko lahat, ngayon hanggang dito na lang ibibigay ko. Okay? Now, imagine years na nakasanayan mo na. Okay, tipo mo na araw-araw kumakain kang Jolly Spaghetti. Tapos biglang hindi ka nakakain ng Jolly Spaghetti kinabukasan. How would that feel? At sabihin na natin yung pag-set ng boundary can be a good thing. Pero it doesn't register in your brain as a good thing. Kasi tinutol mo kung ano yung normal. Yung normal is what has gotten you to this point of survival. So dahil yun yung normal, buhay ka pa rin right now. Pag nag-set ka ng boundary, pipigilan mo yung normal. Ang mangyayari is matitrigger yung brain natin to tag yung boundary as a bad thing. Okay? Kaya nahihirapan mag-set ng boundaries. Kasi yung pag-set ng boundary, nagkakaroon ng storya na pag ginawa ko to, masama to. Because that's how the brain functions. Kung anong normal, pag pinutol mo, kung anong pinangputol mo dun, it's not a good thing. Dapat di mo to ginagawa. Tapos nadagdagan na lang yun ng narratives. So, kunyari, if it's for family, anong klaseng anak ka? Hindi mo lang mabigay yung hinihingi ng magulang. Nagbago ka na. Ate, dati, tapos ngayon, ganyan. So, nagkakaroon ng mga ganong storya that justifies that setting the boundary is a bad thing. Is this making sense? As an initial, point of view dito. But that's what normally happens. Kaya makikita mo, through the years, it's the same patterns. Hindi ibig sabihin walang attempt yung mga tao na yun na try baguhin, pero the brain works against them in changing things kasi tinatag yung change as a bad thing. Okay? Hindi ko pa sinasagot yung actual na tanong. Siset ko yung backdrop for why it's hard. Kasi hindi na itatanong yung question na to in the first place kung hindi nahihirapan na iset yung boundary na yun in the first place. Okay? Boundaries are extreme. It doesn't train the brain to accept change. Okay? Madalas sinasabi nyo, self-development circles, set ka kasi ng boundary mo and stuff. As if ang dali nun. Pero walang nagsasabi how to set a boundary. Hindi dinadissect kung paano ba talaga yung process. Paano mo matututunan yun? Kung through the years, di ka naman nagsiset ng boundaries. Paano biglang may expect mo na, okay, expert na ako, boundary set, ito na yun. I mean, it's good advice, but it's the process and the approach to it is very, very robotic. Hindi for human beings. Hindi nga for Filipinos eh. Kasi for Filipinos, bound talaga tayo by relationships. Hindi tayo kasing independent the same way the Western European cultures are. Iba yung Asian culture. Okay? So, mas mahirap sa atin mag-set ng boundary. Pag nag-set tayo ng boundary, galit na talaga agad yun. Kumbaga may matindi kang emotion, nasaktan ka, galit ka, sobrang takot mo, life or death situation, tsaka lang set ng boundary. Siyempre, hindi naman natin hintayin na umabot sa gano'n. Tipong punong-puno ka na, di ba? Sa layas ka lang sa bahay. Okay? Okay. Sagutin ko rin. Daming pinagsasabi. Tatlong layers. Boundaries yung extreme, pero meron pang dalawang mas less extreme. Okay? How do you incorporate change in terms of kung may iba pang tao involved? Okay? You start with requests. Okay? Boundaries yung dulo, yun na yung extreme. Ibig sabihin ng boundary, pag sinet ko to, make or break lang to. Ito yung gusto ko, sumunod kayo o hindi. Hindi ko babaliin to. Pero madalas, mababaliin ko din. Kasi the brain tags it as a bad thing. Requests, ito yung unang layer. Pwede ba ganito? So, nyari, hiningan ka ng something, di ba? Tapos madalas nagbibigay ka, let's say, pera. Okay. Hiningan ka ng, let's say, 5,000 pesos. Tapos dahil responsable kang anak o kapatid. Di ba? Sige, bigyan kita ng 5K. Tapos every time 5K yung bibigay ka, every time bibigyan ng 5K. The request is, pwede bang 2,500 na lang? It's a simple thing. Pwede bang 2,500 lang? Okay? So a request is, meron pang response yung other person. A boundary kasi pag sinet mo is parang, hindi, mula ngayon 2,500 na lang bibigay ko sa'yo. Bahala na. Okay? If you start with a request, it's a different conversation. Okay? And then yung next na layer is agreement. So, kung hindi madaan sa request, pwede namang agreement. Ibig sabihin, meron siyang part to play, may part ka to play. Ano yung difference? Sige, bigyan kita ng 5K, pero pwede bang mula ngayon, ikaw na yung magtatapon ng basura every Tuesday and Thursday? Pwede bang mula ngayon, magbibigay ka sa akin ng report weekly kung saan mo dinadala yung 5K? Diba? Pwede bang bigyan ka ng 5K pero huwag mo ipang i-scatter? That's an agreement. Okay? So meron kang part to play, pero may part to play yung other person. So kung sakaling lumabag sila dun sa part na kailangan nilang i-play, then it doesn't make sense to continue kung ano yung napag-usapan. Diba? Kasi sila yung lumabag on their end. Okay? Now, itong dalawa na to, requests and agreements, it takes a conversation. Yung pagsiset ng boundary, ikaw lang nagsiset nun. Is this making sense? Well, kahit hindi naman nag-make sense, time na tayo. So, so I have to say goodbye for now kasi nag-11:01 na, nag-overtime na tayo. Yeah, so sa ngayon, I'll leave it at that. I hope may itulong sa inyo yung mga conversations natin. Quick announcement na lang, we'll be launching the Life Systems Guild by August. So this is going to be an annual membership for all life system stuff. Sessions like this will be a normal thing within that membership community. And we're still working on kung ano pa yung mga ibang magiging laman nun. So we'll just announce kung ano yung mga stuff na pwede pang ma-expect here. And if you feel like ganitong conversations and iba't ibang frameworks and systems ay makakatulong sa inyo sa pag-build ng sarili nyong life systems, yeah, it would be nice for you to consider joining. Ayun. Maraming salamat. Take care and yeah. Happy Friday.
Thank you po. Bye-bye.